Good morning. Well, good morning, and thank you all for being here. I think you're in for a real treat this morning. We have some outstanding panelists who are here today, and they will share their thoughts and their experiences with you. And we have a very interesting mix of people on this stage. Clemson Hall of Famers, business leaders, entrepreneurs, community leaders, and professional athletes, a few of who were picked very high in the draft. But what they all have in common, and this is special, is that they are wonderful friends and supporters of this great university. Each has a deep love for Clemson. Each individual has made a positive difference in the lives of others. And I want to thank them personally for taking the time to be here with us today. And I hope that all of you enjoy the discussion, and I hope that we all gain valuable insights that will make us better as individuals and better as a campus community. May God bless you all, and go Tigers. Thank you.
I'm honored to be sitting next to this exceptional group of Clemson alumni and friends. I mean, this is amazing, and I'm so excited, as I'm sure all of you are, to hear from them about their experiences and apply them to my own life. So I think we're going to have a good time today. So before you ask questions, though, you might want to get to know a little bit about who we have here.
Hey, good morning. My name is Ben O'Hanlon. I grew up here in Pickens County, but chose to go to another CU to college. I went out to the University of Colorado in Boulder and graduated in 1999, came back to the upstate, and am now the president of a computer company right here in Pickens County. We design and manufacture computing products for the military, medical industry, oil and gas industries, have about 60 employees, like I said, right here in Pickens County, and recruit actively out of Clemson. So thank you all for the education you're getting and the work you do here.
So I have another Twitter question here. It's Max says, who has made a significant impact on your professional life, and why and what did you learn from him or her? Ben, do you have a mentor?
Yes, I'm very fortunate to have probably the best mentor you could ask for. I get the pleasure of working for my dad, who started our company back in 1986.
That's awesome.
So there's been a lot of mentors along the way that have helped me, depending on the particular challenge or the situation at the time. But still having that working relationship with my father, to be able to bounce things off of him and talk about things together has been tremendously beneficial in my career.
Yeah, that's awesome that you have that relationship with him and he's there for you. That's so good. Thank you. Blythe Steelman wanted to know, what does success mean to you, and how do you define being successful? And I think I'll start with Ben for that one. Ben, what do you think about success?
Sure, thank you. It's pretty easy for me to answer that question. I believe in that expression that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Absolutely.
And so that's how I would define it, and I certainly love what I do, so it's been great.
So Ryan Caldwell asked us on Twitter, how has the Clemson family helped you network and help you achieve success? What kind of connections do you keep with outside this board?
Outside this board, I have the pleasure of serving on a nonprofit board with Dabo. It's a group that treats addiction as it impacts mothers and young children. So it's been great working with him and a fine group of folks in Greenville on that. As far as wearing orange, I do have to confess that graduating from the University of Colorado, I do find it like I'm cheating on my school to put on this Clemson orange. So oftentimes I will wear something that is orange, but I think this is probably the first time I've ever had an actual tiger paw on my person. So it
looks good. It looks like it's at 1 o'clock, which is exactly right. I'm very impressed. Looks very good. I like it. I know. We won't tell anybody at Colorado. Colorado people, we're so sorry. He's not.
Thank you.
He loves you the most. So, Ben, Parker Smith on Twitter also wants to know, what advice would you give for handling a conflict in the business world?
Handling a conflict in the business world. That's a good question. I would say you've really got to make sure that you're dealing with the conflict in a professional manner. We're very quick these days to type or to fire something out before we put a lot of thought into it. And the world that we live in these days, it's that once it's out there, it's in the public domain, and it's going to follow you around forever. So really, if nothing else, type that response and then throw it away, and then figure out how to come back to it later and handle it as professionally as you possibly can, because you don't put that toothpaste back in the tube once it's out.
Can't take it back, right?
Yep.
Kind of give yourself 24 hours, breathe.
That's right.
So I'm going to ask you guys to describe Clemson in 3 words. So we'll go down the panel.
The first one for me would be talent. Like I said, my company recruits a lot of resources out of Clemson. We've run some internships through Clemson, and so the talent that we get from Clemson University in the form of our engineers, sales professionals, marketing professionals, has just been incredible. Second word would be opportunity. We learned this morning, I mentioned earlier about, do something you love and you'll never work a day. Learning about the Michelin Center and the Strong Interest Initiative, where it lets kids, answer some questions and figure out the things that they're interested in that may not line up with what they came in as, thinking that this is the major that I've got to major in because this is, the amount of money that you make in that field. You take this test and you find out that your interest might be something completely different. So that, early on is an incredible tool. And then I think we heard that 70% of the kids that are graduating already have the job lined up, at the time that they're walking across the stage. So the opportunity here is just incredible. And so then the last word for me would be pride. There's a lot of pride, in this room at this campus. And then for me growing up in Pickens County, having this asset here, creates a lot of pride as well.
Absolutely. Thank you guys again, and we'll let them be excused. And thank again to everybody that came out, and go Tigers.
My name is Patrick Sapp. I attended Clemson. I was a fantastic swimmer here. No, just kidding. But I was a football player here and a basketball player. Graduated with a psychology degree. Played professionally for a while, retired, came back, and now I'm working at Clemson. Been here almost 8 years in the development office, and so I get a chance to become friends with a lot of these guys throughout the generations, and glad to have these guys back and be a part of this. So should be in for a good treat today.
Okay, so we have another request for CJ on Twitter, and Joseph Andrews says, do you want to go to Harcum after this? I'll guest swipe you in. To the Harcum Dining Hall. He's going to swipe you in with his paw points. Is that
What's his name?
Joseph Andrews.
Tell Joseph I'd love to go to Harcum.
Aw. You miss the food there, right?
Yeah, I would choose Harcum over Sealevel, I'll probably say. Nothing against Sealevel, but Harcum was, probably had a little more variety and a little better taste.
Yeah. I would say so too. I like the cookies. The cookies are always the best part, right? So, Charlie, we have not a question, but a shout out for you off of Twitter that says, thank you for letting me say 6317. So sorry. 6317 to my USC friends. And it's from...
I'm not embarrassed to say that probably the 2 greatest days of my life were in 2003 beating Florida State, and then about 3 weeks later going down to Columbia and doing that with my teammates. That was, I don't have kids, I'm not married, so I can say that's probably the greatest day of my life.